So yeah, so let's get into these segments real quick. I know we've kind of been running long already, but I do kind of want to talk about the big news that kind of came out today, which was the PlayStation 5 Pro. Everybody, you know, it's pretty cheap, right? We're all gonna get one, right? We're all gonna
Very affordable.
You know, get grocery shopping the next year and
get those second and third jobs going.
Yeah,
maybe sell a kid or two.
Yeah,
and a kidney.
Yeah. So this week's weekly segment is conference call. Obviously, Sony did their digital technical talk today. They, walked Mark Cerny out there with his. I never really understood his haircut thing going on.
It's like he's a mixture of Garth from Wayne's World, but he has the voice of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yeah. But not
Weird
funny.
Combination.
It's like Ryan Reynolds isn't funny. But yeah,
no,
so
he's got that voice though. It's that buttery smooth voice where it's kind of flowery and you don't know if he's being sarcastic or just really cute right now. That kind of thing.
Wow. Do you think Mark Cerny's cute, Pat? Are you trying to tell us something here?
He is kind of adorable.
Yeah.
I would let him talk me to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
jeez. Anyway, PlayStation 5 Pro was announced. The diskless, no disk drive, disk drive separately. The disk drive is separate for $69.99. By the way, everybody out there, $699 this console. That was a bombshell. I was like, I mean, when the PlayStation 3 was announced, the $599 became an instant meme. It's still a meme, right? And it's like, dang, man, they went over the meme. This is the new meme standard.
2.0 meme.
I mean, we're not talking about a brand new system. We're talking about an upgraded system.
Upgrade.
Yeah.
And they upgraded it by 200 on the disc version.
Yeah. Yeah, which is crazy, and which means, by the time you pay tax and everything, like the disc drive, adding the disc drive to it, you're going to be paying almost $800 for this thing if you want a physical thing.
It's probably going to be like $830 or $840 because I think an add-on disc is $80 just for the add-on for the disc.
Yeah.
You think they're doing that because they're trying to be hip and discless like Xbox is, or because I'm a fan of physical, but that doesn't mean the rest of the world is trending in that direction.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I think I think the way these companies are going, and Nintendo's going this way too, right? Is like they want to give you as many options as possible. But I think in PlayStation's case, like the option, like the lack of the option, and you have to pay extra for the option is strange. I have a digital PS5 under my TV. I don't even remember the last time I turned it on, to be honest with you. But for Xbox and PlayStation, and I guess PC just by default, like the way games are updated and, patched and everything, it is not worth it for me to have physical copies anymore. It's just not. Nintendo games, I still buy physical. I think that's just growing up with Nintendo and having that collection of Nintendo games and Nintendo just, naturally being behind everybody else by 15 years technologically is, and their games come out polished on the cartridge,
Yeah, that's the big difference is the games are complete. All these PlayStation games need patches and patches to actually be what they're supposed to.
Yeah, the two examples for me of the digital stuff, right, is Destiny, obviously ongoing game. The stuff on the disc isn't even in the game anymore, like because of their content vaulting program where they take old content out of the game, and like the stuff on the disc isn't even in the game anymore. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider was the big one, right? Single player game, right? You expect it to be, kind of ready to go there is a version of the ending of the game on the disc that is completely different than the patched ending. Like, it's a different boss, it's a different ending, it's a different story, and you can look it up on YouTube, the different, like, the story differences in the like, just the difference in general. It's crazy, and it's like, well, somebody who doesn't have their console connected online is going to play this experience, and then somebody else is going to play this experience, and it's just going to be different. And so that's where I kind of called it. Plus, like, with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus stuff, like, you're going to get that digital library naturally anyway. So it's like, I don't know if it's really worth it to have physical anyway, but those were the two examples. But I still think it's good to have choice, and it's always nice, especially for gifts and stuff. If you're going to give a gift to somebody, like, oh, you're going to wrap up one of these like $100 PSN gift cards and give them to somebody? No. No, you, like, it's always nice to open a box, right?
You know, I mean, if they go that route, like, PlayStation needs to at least get a gift program going, like Xbox. You know how you're able, or Steam, like how you're able to just like, hey, I really like this game, you know, let me buy it for you. Digitally.
Like gifting someone a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
they should have that by now, in my opinion. I feel like that should just be a thing.
Yeah. Xbox has had that since the 360, which is crazy to think about. And it's just, I think the big mistake was not including the disc drive with this thing. Like, if somebody wants it a digital platform, include that kind of plate, right, to take over the disc drive, take the disc drive off, put that plate on, whatever. But I think it's a huge mistake to charge $700 for a console that has relatively minimal upgrades to games, except for maybe first party games, right?
There's only a small list of games that are actually going to be up-res to Pro.
Yeah. And I saw this meme going around today where it's like the first game they showed off on the PS5 Pro was a PlayStation 4 game. I'm like, oh my god, because they were showing The Last of Us Part 2, which, granted, has a PS5 remaster, but still, like, oh my gosh, come on, couldn't have at least showed Spider-Man 2 or something. So I don't know, what does everybody think about this $700 console? I mean, I would just assume that none of us are going to upgrade to this thing.
I cannot afford it. My standard PlayStation 5 is fine.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, personally, I do not see any need to upgrade. Like, all the games that I've ever played on my PS5 run perfectly fine. I don't see any reason to upgrade. Like, I'd rather wait till the PS6 or whenever that comes out, however many years from now. I'm kind of the same as you. I know it's very controversial for it to be $700 without a disc drive. I'm kind of like half physical, half digital, because I do understand the appeal of digital, because I don't have to get up and change the game. I'm just like, I'm done with this game. I'm just going to load up this game. And I'm just like chilling. You know, I don't have to get up and change out the cartridge or disc or anything. So I've been kind of leaning more towards digital, but like, I like to buy games I love physically. Like, I loved Final Fantasy 16. If I want to get a super fancy steelbook case or collector's edition of that, like, I'm gonna get physical because I want that. So there were some games. I guess nowadays they kind of give you a digital code too, I think, right, when you get collector's editions, or I don't know.
Yeah,
only if the game does not come out right away.
A lot of Xbox boxes now, you have the option of getting a code in a box. That was the big deal with Redfall's launch, right? I mean, not that Redfall was that great anyway, but they were originally planning on putting a slip of paper in a box and being like, you need to download this. And it's like, then why? So I can have this nice piece of plastic take up room on my shelf, I guess. And, you know, that's kind of been the complaint about Call of Duty for a while, is like, the only thing on the disc is the license to play it. It's not even like, there's no data on the disc except for the license to play the game. Because everything is housed within the Warzone client now, I guess. And then you kind of just pick and choose which sections of Call of Duty you want to download and play. So yeah, I mean, but then there's companies that made a huge deal of having physical, like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, right? 2 discs, the entire game is going to be ready on the disc at launch, right? Which was a big deal. That's a huge deal these days. I don't know if they ever patched it or not, but I'm sure there was a patch or two, right? Probably stability patch or something.
Well, the way. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to kind of try to veer to the actual Pro itself. So I know that there's the whole diskless disc thing, but I'm trying to figure out in my own mind, is the actual upgrade itself worth the additional $200? So I pull up the PlayStation blog, and the highlights are an upgraded GPU. What that essentially means is that it has a 28% faster memory, 45% faster rendering for gameplay. What that does is it makes a smoother experience. And second is advanced ray tracing, twice to 3 times of the speed of the PS5 for ray tracing, if that means anything to you. And quote unquote AI driven upscaling, which essentially uses machine learning to provide a sharper image clarity. So when I see that, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like my PS5 currently does a fantastic job. Like, would my normie eyes notice a difference? Like, I feel like most
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
people would.
A lot of those comparisons, like I was straining to try and figure out what the difference is, and any difference that I saw, to me, was not worth $200.
Yeah,
I think the only people that would notice the difference are the same people who are like, "Oh, PC's better because of it has like." Then they run off all the statistics on frame rates.
Yeah.
Sorry, Laurent.
I know.
Love you, Laurent.
I can hear Laurent right now. It's funny though, because like
ROG Ally.
the next Switch is supposed to have all this kind of not all this stuff, but like it's supposed to have the upgraded GPU and the AI driven upscaling through the NVIDIA chip that they're using. And it's just like Nintendo can really come out with a home run if they're just like, well, our console's $400 and you can take it with you. And you know, oh, Mario looks great. His whiskers on his mustache just wistfully blow in the wind, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. We are getting to a point of diminishing returns on graphics, right? Especially photorealistic graphics, which I think is what this is intended for stuff like The Last of Us or Uncharted or the next God of War or Horizon, right? But like, you look at something like Fortnite or even something like Genshin Impact, where like those games will not benefit from any of this stuff because they're already maxed out of where they're going to be.
What about Minecraft?
And I mean, yeah, Minecraft too, though, right? It already has 120 hertz mode and ray tracing on the next gen versions that aren't. I don't know if they're out yet or not, but like all that stuff already exists, and you can do that stuff on the Series S. It's not even like the Series X either. The Series S, which is like a significantly less powerful console. So this just screams like I have an amazing setup. I have to have the best of the best no matter what. And if I can see it, awesome. I'm cool. If not, well, I can just brag to all my friends that I have a Pro. And if this console was like a $500 console, right? And they dropped the price of the other ones, I'd be like, okay, well, even if it was $550, I would be like, okay, that might be worth an upgrade to most people, especially if you have a launched console or, you play it all the time and you're ready to, kind of trade up or replace it or something. But man,
you know what they could have added to make the 700 price point like a lot easier to swallow? The emulation software that they promised.
Oh, for the old,
like be able to play PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 games, on your PlayStation 5. Like I think a lot more people.
So cool.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that would cost that much.
Well, the PlayStation 3 stuff. Not to make this about the PlayStation 3 because who cares about that console? But the reason why PlayStation 3 Obviously, the cell processor has a lot to do with that, the trouble in emulation. But the way companies use the cell processor, every company used it different. So every game requires a different emulator. Theoretically, to emulate the way that those companies intended to use it, so those games can run correctly.
Okay, that's like complicated then.
Yeah. Plus, like a lot of the, well, not a lot, but most of the games have already been updated to a PlayStation 4 version, like the Nathan Drake Collection or The Last of Us Remastered or whatever. So, like, would you even bother emulating those? I don't know. You know, I mean,
for Sly Cooper, yes.
There's quite a few, right?
Sly Cooper is what I thought.
I mean, yeah, there's quite a few, right? Like the old God of War games, I would totally repurchase, right? Or, like Sly Cooper, or Jak and Daxter. Well, I guess Jak and Daxter is natural. Whatever, you know what I mean.
Jak and Daxter actually has, they have their games on the PlayStation that you can download, but all of them.
Yeah, this stuff just $700. Man, that is such a hard pill to swallow. I was thinking, I'm like, if the next Nintendo console is $400, that is, I can buy the next console, whatever their Pro Controller version is, if I want it, if the old ones don't work, and like 2 or 3 games at launch for $700, right? That's just so expensive. Or that's like my next trip to PAX. Like, I'm not wasting that on a console upgrade.
That's true.
So I kind of think this is a little bit ridiculous.
No.
So
I'm going to say, people who want to get this system, I'm happy for you. Like, if this is what you want and this is what you're looking for, by all means, get the system. Like, we're not trying to shit on it and say that it's horrible, but for a lot of us, it just doesn't make sense for us to get it.
Yeah. I mean, the amount I play my PlayStation mixed with my budgeting is, this just doesn't make sense for someone like me, right? So I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure games a year from now will maybe be eating our words right now, but like for now, it's like, meh, gross. So yeah, PlayStation 5 Pro, everybody.
November 7th or 9th. One of those 2 days.
Somewhere in there. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.